heart of Obinze, life was ordinary. The streets buzzed with chatter, motorbikes rumbled by, and children played barefoot after school. Traders shouted from their stores and mothers called out for their children as the sun dipped behind the rusting zinc roofs. But in the midst of the bustle was a figure everyone avoided, a ragged woman who wandered barefoot, her skin darkened by dust, her hair wild and matted like overgrown weeds. People called her Mmanwoye, the mad woman. She spoke to no one, but her eyes were always moving, studying, scanning, and calculating. She wore mismatched shoes when she wore any at all. Her clothes hung on her like curtains, and yet there was something oddly deliberate about her madness. She was always around where people gathered, marketplaces, church fronts, school gates, and people noticed something strange. She was always collecting things. A missing shoe here, a child's sweater there, a man's cap snatched during an argument and never returned. Most dismissed it as typical behavior from someone mentally disturbed. Some even laughed it off. "Mama, you don't collect your slippers again." They did joke. But old Mami Ifeoma, who sat by the corner selling roasted corn, didn't laugh. She had lived long enough to know that not all madness was madness. One particular evening, as the sky darkened and thunder rumbled faintly in the distance, Mmanwoye locked near a bus stop. Schoolgirls waited for a late ride home. One of them, Amarachi, laughed with her friends, pulling off her high-heeled shoes to rest her aching feet. Mmanwoye suddenly launched out, snatching one of the shoes with speed no one expected. "Hey, my shoe!" Amarachi shouted. People watched, but no one chased.
"She's mad, let her go,"
someone murmured. But the mad woman didn't run into town. She slipped between buildings, disappearing into a narrow path that led beyond the houses, beyond the farms, toward the thickening trees. That night, no one spoke of it again. But in a small clearing deep in the forest, lit by the flickering light of a red candle, Mmanwoye knelt before a shrine made of bones and broken mirrors. She placed the shoe beside other items, clothes, caps, wristwatches, children's socks, and even a single earring still stained with dry blood. She muttered words in a language forgotten by most. Behind her in the shadows, something moved, something breathing, and something waiting. The air in Obinze village was thick with confusion the next morning. A young boy named Ebuka ran through the streets barefoot, face soaked in tears, screaming his sister's name, "Amarachi! Amarachi!" Villagers gathered, questions flew like dust in the harmattan wind. "What happened?"
"She's missing."
"Missing? From where?" Ebuka struggled to speak, choking on fear.
We waited for her. She never came home. She was last seen at the bus stop with Mmanwoye."
Gasps rippled through the crowd like a spark on dry grass.
"Mmanwoye again?"
Mama Ifeoma stood slowly from her stool, her aged hands trembling. "I told you people, that woman, that thing, she's not mad." The villagers whispered. Some laughed nervously, others stayed silent, the fear crawling under their skin. That afternoon, Amarachi's mother went to the police station, but the officers only shook their heads.
"She was taken by a mad woman?"
One officer scoffed.
"We are not chasing ghosts."
Back in the village, Mmanwoye was nowhere to be seen. Not in the markets, not near the churches, not even near the school gates. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. But deep in the edge of the forest, hidden among twisted trees and sacred silence, the shrine flickered again. And Amarachi lay there, unconscious, her shoe placed neatly on her chest. Mmanwoye stood before her, no longer hunched or frail. Her madness had melted into something else, something darker and more calculated. She picked up a long feather dipped in red liquid and whispered, "One more offering, just one more, and I'll be complete." Suddenly, a soft rustle came from behind. She turned. A hooded figure stepped forward from the dark, a man, quiet and watching. He spoke in a low, heavy voice.
"You are drawing too much attention, Adaku. You must be careful."
Adaku, her real name, not Mmanwoye. She didn't respond. Instead, she picked up Amarachi's sweater and placed it beside the others. "I just need a few more items. Young, fresh, touched by joy and innocence. Then the spirit will rise fully." The man nodded.
You have until the next full moon.
And then he vanished. The moon hung heavy over Obinze like an unblinking eye, casting pale light on empty roads and quiet houses. Inside her father's compound, Ngozi, a brave 14-year-old girl with sharp eyes and a curious mind, couldn't sleep. She had heard the rumors about the mad woman, the missing girl, and the shoe found by the stream. Her own older sister, Chika, had started acting strangely. She kept waking up in the middle of the night, crying about seeing a woman with no eyes in her dreams. At midnight, Ngozi tiptoed to the window. She froze. Outside, under the guava tree, someone was bent over. A woman, no, a figure, limping and thin, with a torn wrapper and a crooked back. Ngozi's heart pounded. She dropped to the floor and crawled to the side. The shadows slipped into their compound. Ngozi peeked through the window slats, barely breathing. She saw the woman dig into a pair of shoes left on the doorstep. She grabbed one and turned. The moonlight hit her face just right. Ngozi gasped. It wasn't a mad woman at all. It was Mmanwoye, but her eyes were glowing like a cat's. Ngozi's scream caught in her throat. Mmanwoye turned slowly toward the window, as if she did sense the eyes on her. But Ngozi ducked. Silence. When she looked again, the woman was gone. The next morning, Ngozi ran to the elders. She told them everything, but they waved her off.
You are just a child. So many stories in your head.
Even her parents begged her to keep quiet. But Ngozi was determined. She knew what she saw. She began to watch the roads, sneaking out at dusk, hiding near corners, eyes sharp for any movement. And one day, it happened. She followed Mmanwoye, not into the main road, but down a small bush path leading toward the old abandoned slaughterhouse at the edge of the town. Ngozi crept behind silently, staying low. But then, a twig snapped beneath her foot. The woman stopped, turned around. Silence. Ngozi ducked behind a bush, heart racing. Mmanwoye sniffed the air, then smiled. A wicked, knowing smile.
Curiosity, sweet as blood,
she murmured. She didn't chase. She simply turned and walked into the bush. In the hidden chamber of the forest shrine, Amarachi's fingers twitched. She was waking up. Her eyes fluttered, confused, weak, and terrified. But before she could scream, a voice echoed from the darkness. You are not ready to leave, child. Not yet. And a pale hand reached out, gently stroking her forehead. The next morning, the whole of Obinze buzzed with chaos. Another girl was missing. This time it was Chika, Ngozi's older sister. She had gone out to buy pure water and never returned. Ngozi was shattered. She begged her parents, the elders, everyone to believe her now. But fear had gripped the town. People were whispering, locking their doors early, clutching their children tightly. And Mmanwoye, she still wondered, grabbing sandals, wrappers, school bags. No one dared to stop her. Some even offered her their things just to avoid her strange gaze. But Ngozi had had enough. She knew where to go. That evening, she returned to the narrow bush paths, this time carrying her father's old camera and a bottle of anointing oil her mother used for midnight prayers. Her hands trembled, but her resolve didn't. She followed the trail again, past the slaughterhouse, past the termite mound, until she reached a clearing. In the middle stood a shrine-like structure made of bones, palm fronds, and torn clothes, hundreds of them. Clothes of children, shoes of women, wrappers soaked in dried blood. And in front of it, dancing slowly in the moonlight, Mmanwoye. Only this time, her disguise had fallen off. Her face shimmered between human and spirit, eyes black as night, veins glowing red beneath her skin. Ngozi gasped and accidentally hit a branch. Mmanwoye stopped dancing, then turned to face her.
You came again, little one,
she said calmly.
You have seen too much, but maybe that's what the forest wants.
Suddenly, dozens of rats crawled from beneath the shrine, circling Ngozi's feet. She panicked, dropped the oil and tried to run. But Mmanwoye raised a hand.
You think I am mad?
She whispered.
No, child. Madness is a mask. What I seek is essence. What I harvest is memory.
She walked towards Ngozi, eyes glowing like twin fires. But just before she could touch her, a loud chant echoed from the forest.
I command you, fade!
From the trees emerged a man, dark-skinned, tall, holding a staff wrapped in red clothes. It was Chijioke, now revealed as a wandering deliverance prophet. He had been tracking the evil in Obinze. He struck the ground with the staff. A wave of light burst from it. Mmawoye screamed, her form cracking like dry leaves. She vanished into the air, leaving behind only her dirty wrapper and a pile of burnt feathers. Ngozi fainted. Deep underground in the shrine's final chamber, Chika and Amarachi lay side by side, unconscious, and a second voice, softer, older, spoke in the dark. She failed. The time is near. We will need another vessel. Chijioke carried Ngozi in his arms, her face pale but breathing softly. He took her to the outskirts of the village, where Mami Joma, the old herbalist who once treated leprosy with just 3 barks and prayer, lived in a clay hut surrounded by bitter leaf and silence. As she lay there recovering, Chijioke opened the book he found beneath the altar, bound in red leather with pages that looked like dried skin. The first page was blank. The second bore a drawing of Ngozi's face, eyes wide with fear. His hands trembled.
Why is she in here?
He muttered. Mami Joma entered and looked at the book.
That's the book of faces.
She whispered.
Each soul haunted for ritual appears there, drawn by the spirit's hand just before it is taken.
Chijioke flipped forward. Chika's face appeared, then Amarachi's, then dozens of other faces, some of which had already gone missing in past years, dismissed as kidnappings or accidents. But the last face wasn't Ngozi, it was his own. Chijioke staggered back.
No, this can't be.
But it was. The next ritual wasn't for girls alone. Mmawoye had been feeding the shrine with what it was sent for, and now, with her destroyed, the ancient spirit wanted to feed itself, and it had chosen him. Ngozi woke up gasping. Her dream was vivid. A forest burning, children calling her name, a woman with bleeding eyes whispering, "Tell the village, burn the roots, burn the roots." Ngozi jolted up and ran to Chijioke.
She's not dead,
she said.
The spirit used her, but she was just the shell.
Chijioke nodded slowly.
We need to go back.
Later that night, they returned to the shrine site with jerrycans of petrol, holy water, and Mami Joma's chants echoing from her lips like old war songs. But the forest was waiting. The moment they stepped into the clearing, the ground split open. From it rose a towering figure, twice the size of a man, cloaked in bones and ash, no eyes, just a hollow face. It held in its hands the belongings of hundreds, shoes, books, wrappers, toys, and it spoke in a voice that sounded like thunder underwater. You born, you freed him, but the debt remains. Chijioke stepped forward.
Take me, let the others go.
But Ngozi screamed,
No!
Suddenly, a light broke through the trees, golden and radiant. A figure with glowing wings descended, the angel from Chijioke's past vision.
Mercy has spoken once,
the angel said calmly, looking at Chijioke.
But sacrifice will now speak twice.
Then everything turned white. The entire forest had gone still. Ngozi stood frozen, her breath catching as she looked around the smoldering ground where Chijioke once stood. Only a faint glow remained, and beside it, a torn page from the book of faces fluttered in the breeze. It was her face. The moment she touched it, a sharp wind swirled around her, lifting leaves and dust. Then came the voice, faint like a whisper crawling through her ear. You were never just a witness. You were always part of the offering. She stumbled backward, her mind racing. Was this why she had been drawn to the shrine? Why the spirit hadn't devoured her like the others? She grabbed the jerrycan of petrol they hadn't used, rage burning in her veins. She marched towards the ancient altar, still intact under the earth crack.
If I am going down, I will take every cursed memory with me.
As she poured petrol over the stones, bones and ashes of the dead, a child's giggle echoed behind her. Ngozi turned slowly. There at the edge of the woods stood a small girl in a red dress, no older than 5, her eyes black and mouth smiling too wide.
Are you going to burn my toys?
The girl asked. Ngozi froze.
Who are you?
The girl stepped closer, holding a melted sander and a burnt doll.
I am the one they left behind many years ago.
Suddenly, dozens of ghostly children emerged from the trees. Boys and girls in school uniforms, church clothes, slippers, bare feet. Each of them held an item the madwoman had once stolen. A scarf, a book, a pair of trousers, even a rubber wristband. Ngozi dropped the match. Whoosh! Flames rose, the air thick with heat, and shrill cries. Some of pain, some of release. The spirits of the children danced in the flames, dissolving into golden dust, rising to the sky like birds set free. The little girl smiled.
Thank you.
And then she vanished. Ngozi fell to her knees, coughing, crying, relieved, but still alone. 3 days later, the village was buzzing. They found Ngozi unconscious at the forest edge, with burns on her palms but no fire in sight. The villagers whispered stories. Some said she was mad, others said she fought a demon and won. Ngozi was carried home by the hunter who found her at the edge of the forest. The next day, she told her parents about the encounter she had in the forest. Then some of the villagers went into the forest to rescue Amarachi and Chika. When they entered the underground shrine, they were shocked at the sight of them. Then they carried them back into the village. The moral of this story is that evil wears many masks, sometimes even the faces of madness. But truth has a voice and justice never sleeps. Hello fam, thank you for watching through to the end of this video. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you are yet to do that. Like and share this video, and until we meet on our next story. Bye.